Take the hat off or to have a shadow, or I mean, backwards.
What you got?
I'm ready.
It's like
Like this. RedBull X Fighters, to be honest, is the best event in the world.
The biggest attended freestyle event ever.
This last year was just the most amazing experience of my life.
Flying a bunch of the best riders from around the world. We have a contest.
It's kind of a party, it's kind of a show. It's just really a fun atmosphere.
It's crazy now. People are doing backflip lazy boys and double backflips.
Oh, that's as big as it could ever get. Next week someone's doing something bigger.
It's the most dangerous sport in the world.
There's such enormous risk here. I think at more extreme extent that I can't compare to any other sport.
They're pushing the envelope and guys are getting hurt.
Bottom line is when the show starts, we want to give our best. We want to ride our best and entertain our best.
It's very cool for the sports change the location. You know, the last year it's just Mexico and Madrid, and this year you have Ireland, Moscow, and a lot of places. And now I can say the RedBull X Fighters, it's a world tour.
I think expanding the X Fighters tour is definitely a good plan. I mean, never been to Russia, never been to Ireland. So I mean, this would all be just really cool experiences.
RedBull X Fighters was pretty much from the beginning, the year 2001, which was pretty much a year or two after the beginning of freestyle. They were out to put on the best show ever, and they did it, and they're still doing it, and that's what everybody loves about it. My first X Fighters was in Valencia, Spain, and actually I was a winner, so I'm pumped on that one for sure.
Mad Mike Jones, he's going to go out there and make the crowd just come alive. He was so sketchy and went for such, and sorry Mike, the guy's like a father to me, I mean, but he just went so big and tried to extend further than he knew he could on every trick, just to scare himself and scare the crowd. And it doesn't matter if he was first or last, the crowd was like, Mad Mike! So it's good times.
I was a showman even at the competition. That's why I think I have the fans I do. Because I wasn't there for the judges. I wasn't there for the money. I wasn't there for anything other than the people in the stands to make them cheer and happy. I won the first one, and that's the main one. That's the most important still to this day.
Well, E.T.'s one of my favorite riders of all time with freestyle. He's one of the first guys. Little people know he was right there with Metzger and McGrath, all them guys in the mid-90s doing tricks, and with great style too. He's the original showman. E.T. was always good at, throwing the bike around and throwing his body around and bending in ways that other people couldn't bend, and letting go of the bike, ways that other people didn't do it. Edgar rips his shirt off and just gets fired up right with the crowd, and they relate to that.
You have to be loopy to go upside down. Definitely.
it doesn't make sense to backflip a dirt bike. You're taught to keep the front end down and stay as low to the ground as you can, so to start flipping it makes you crazy.
In 2001, the first X Fighters, if you said there's someone's going to do a flip on a motorcycle, like, yeah, right. There's no way, it can't be done, it won't be consistent. And if it does, like the insiders thought, it's going to ruin the sport because everyone's going to kill themselves. 2006, doing double flips.
I went for the back flop, my last jump, and didn't make it. And I knew I could win if I did it because I had bigger tricks than Nate and Kenny without going upside down. But I had to go upside down to win, and I knew that, but it didn't work out. Get away from the bike. I was thinking get away from the bike, and I did. I was lucky. And to land from 30 feet in the air and 40 feet in distance on my back and only break 3 ribs and spit up blood was lucky.
That year was his year, you know. He's good entertainer. Everybody likes a cowboy. I mean, cowboys are likable guys, you know.
First time I heard of RedBull X Fighters was Kenny Bartram went over and he won, and he came back and said, look, if you do no other event the rest of your life, you have to go over. And he's like, they hoisted me up on their shoulders, they carried me around and throwing flowers at me, you know, chanting the name. You're going to get injured, you know you're going to get injured. I mean, you always think it's not going to be that weekend, but you know it's going to happen again.
Put yourself in that position. Go ahead.
It's a way to go out there to be creative and to think of things that no one else would think of. And the reason they didn't think of them is because they think they're impossible. And when someone says something's impossible, that's our biggest motivation to go out there and to do it.
You have to do what everybody else is doing and do better than them to be one of the top guys. And I don't know anybody out there that doesn't want to be on top. So they're pushing the envelope, and guys are getting hurt. You know, they're breaking legs and arms, and you know, I broke my neck and back, and yeah, it's the most dangerous sport in the world, I believe.
The mental requirements for this type of sport, to me, in my mind, I think would exceed what most other sports would require in terms of being able to maintain that focus in the face of not only all the distractions and the pressure of competing, but also the risks involved in terms of if you make one mistake. In other sports, when you make a mistake, well, the worst thing that can happen is you lose, or you might get some kind of minor injury. But the kinds of injuries that you might sustain in this kind of sport, like the risk is so much worse if you make a mistake. When you make a mistake, you're gone.
It's weird, but what's scary one day isn't scary the next. And if you're not pushing yourself and pushing the envelope, the crowd knows it. They can tell when you're, you know, sketchy, when you're trying something that you don't think you can make. And they feed off of that. I mean, as much as half the people want to see you land it, the other half want to see you not land it. And, you know, they're voting both ways. And, you know, everyone's like, yeah, do the triple flip. You know, do this, do that. They don't care if you land it or not. But, I mean, that's what the rider's discretion is, to say, okay, this is my ratio. I'm 50% on this trick. Does it mean that much that I would rather go to the hospital and lose than lose by not trying it?
You know, it's hard for the fans that don't really do it to relate, but, you know, it's hard enough to do one trick that you're not sure about and pull it off, you know, adrenaline-wise, breathing, all that. But to throw in 6 or 7 things that you're not really sure if you're going to pull them off, it's hard. And the series is going to come down to who does that the most and the best.
I don't care if I land the easy tricks well. I don't even care if I can do the easy tricks. I just want to go out and bust the biggest trick that everyone goes home talking about, even if I crash it out. That's just kind of how I've always been. Like, I want to be that guy.
Yeah, it is dangerous, and you know, but I still love dirt bikes and riding freestyle and putting on a show for the fans. And I don't do it for the money. But I do it for the love of it, and I want to get back on my bike. But I gotta say one thing: the wife don't want me to get back on the bike.
I have to have nerves of steel if I'm like being a girlfriend of such of the riders, and you have to believe that they have control all the time, because if not, you will not be able to sit there and watch them.
It's definitely a different personality with those guys. It's just they just got no fear, you know, and they, especially with the big crowds, you know, that they get there in those stadiums and stuff, and they really rev them up and get them going, and they just want to push each other and go that little bit further, you know. I guess if they see a guy do a bigger jump than the guy before him, then it's like, you know, it really must fire them up and want to go bigger and better, and yeah, it blows me away every time I see it.
2003 was Valencia, Madrid, and we did a road trip. Went to Ibiza, and RedBull took care of us. We had a good time.
Yep, 2004 was my first time in Madrid, and I took to it, you know, like a baby takes to his mama's boob. Like, all those people in such a tight area, you know, and I'm an entertainer, and that just fit in perfect with my style.
You know, it's always been kind of the battle between Nate and I. Always seems like that's what it comes down to in the finals. And Nate, in 2004, he's never before, never since been able to do C-crab flips as big as he did. He just went there, and it's just the ramps, everything, the people, the energy in the stadium. He was pulling the biggest C-crab flips I've ever seen in my life. And then, you know, he came straight back to back it up with a 360. And, you know, I promised myself, I'm like, dude, I can't do a 360. I'm not ready. I haven't done one in a year since, you know, we had done them before, and I really didn't like the trick. Still don't like the trick. I mean, knocked myself out more than I've landed it. And I was coming to the jump, and I'm like, lazy boy, and I thought, that's lame. And I just leaned into it and pulled the three off, and that's what it took to win. So.
You know, Travis was first, Nate Adams second, me third. You can't beat that.
I mean, standing room only. Everyone's got chainsaws, noisemakers, and I think that's what the spirit of the X Fighters really is. It's just kind of all about the fans and all about fun. It's, you know, 20% of your score is this crowd and enthusiasm, and you know that's something they don't do in a lot of or any other event for that matter.
And they are out of control.
They're so excited about it, and they just go crazy. Chainsaws, air horns, throwing roses on the course. It's crazy.
The crowd's there just so unbelievable. You know, everyone's pretty much touchable, and when the crowd starts getting into it, the riders perform.
Feeling the urges of the crazy people. Perfect.
Best fans in the world is the X Fighters, for sure.
'05 X Fighters was the biggest attended freestyle event ever. The for sure highlight of the X Fighters and probably my life so far, as far as freestyle, is winning in Mexico City 2005. Just saw the guy in the crowd going nuts, and I thought it was really cool. So I had a bright idea to change out a jersey for the mask and ride around with it. I still live off that one every once in a while. I'll think back, and it's some real good memories and good vibes.
X Fighters Madrid 2005 was a huge turning point back in Nate Adams' career. I mean, he came off of just a huge traumatic injury where he shattered his femur.
It ended up being almost 9 months off the bike, and then I got back on the bike for about 5 weeks and came here and won, so it was great.
It was great to see Nate come back and make his mark on freestyle, because he could have, been written off real easy.
For someone to come back from a serious injury the first time just tells you there's staying power in the sport, and Nate's definitely going to be around a long time.
The sport has progressed in the past years, and when I landed no hands 10 years ago, people thought I was crazy. Now all the guys land no hands.
Well, let's just start with the development of the sport as far as flipping. Every single person at the X Fighters last year flipped.
It's helping the direction of the sport, because they do make it entertainment, but keep the competition level high.
The RedBull X Fighters has really taken the sport, and it's kept the showmanship alive. It's kept the sport from getting too focused on perfection, and allowed guys to go out there and really have fun. And it brings us back to our roots, where we go, man, I just love freestyle.
They're doing crazier tricks than anybody ever do, so I think that's what's pulling the sport along to where it is today.
It's really cool now in the sport, because you got Matt Rabeau, and you have so many guys that aren't necessarily new, but they're just Andre Villa. They're stepping it up, and they're coming with new tricks.
It's crazy now. People are doing backflip lazy boys and double backflips, and to be honest, in a way, I'm 40 now, and now I'm getting out of the sport. I'm okay with that.
The sport of freestyle motocross has grown exponentially. Everyone says that's as far as it can go, that's as big as it can go, and I just have to laugh at them and go, come on guys, you're just not thinking outside the box enough, and it's going to continue to get bigger, and when it stops, our sport stops. So there's enough guys out there now that are not going to let it stop. It's going to keep getting better.
Pony. White pony.
Mexico this last year was just the most amazing experience of my life.
With all the people, it's 42,000 people on the arena.
Travis in 2006 said to me, he says, I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do something crazy. I'm like, really?
It was raining a little bit, like slid out, and I'm like, oh no, if I go around it, I'm gonna lose. I'm like, if I jump it, I'm gonna crash. Maybe I won't.
Travis crash.
No one else did it all week, but
He got knocked out. He tried to step up onto the wood. Got knocked out.
To watch him scatter himself across the boards there was kind of ugly.
And he told me that wasn't even what he was going to do, crazy. He didn't even do it yet. Like thinking, what?
I love my life, but I sure do land on my head often.
Hey Travis, thanks a lot. Appreciate that because you bumped me up to number 2.
I mean, for all the qualifiers, Matt RedBull was the last one to qualify, He got to the final. I've never seen a run of that magnitude. I mean, at the time, it was probably the best run that had ever taken place, and he just nailed everything.
Plain and simple, Matt has, good style, and he trains his butt off. He trains probably more than Nate Adams or any of those guys.
When I win 7 in Mexico, that's just perfect because I beat Travis, and that's very cool.
For some reason that day in Madrid 06, I found myself on the ground in practice twice. Been in the show, the biggest probably crash I've ever had at a live event. Endo in an 80-foot gap kind of sucks, especially in front of the world.
Nate and I, we had a huge rivalry, and I mean, friendly rivalry, but rivalry nonetheless. So that was cool. We were both talking so much crap before that I had to win. But if I didn't win, I'd be like, ah.
Road flawlessly, won easily, and just rolled everything.
It's almost impossible to say what you're going to see with the jumps and what's going to evolve and improve, because quite frankly there's so many guys right now that are pushing the limits, and there's a whole crew from Australia that are just absolutely brilliant. They have the ability to do stuff on a motorcycle that in ways that I don't think of, and a lot of the guys that have been freestylers for a long time, we kind of think outside the box, but it's still in this realm where these guys are really reaching out and bringing stuff in, like with the varials and the bike varials and the body varials, and that we just don't think of. So it's going to be a good year.
I know what you're gonna see is more guys doing more hard tricks in their 1.5, 2-minute run.
Hey, that's what makes the Red Bull X Fighters what it is today, and it's only going to grow.
This would all be just really cool experiences. Kind of you get a little bit more of the culture, especially the X Fighters events really bring in the culture. I mean, you're looking at the two that we had, the Spanish rounds kind of, are the bullfighting arena, and you get to experience something completely different. I mean, they're talking about a castle. I mean, how often do you get to do that? And then in front of Red Square in Russia. I mean, these are big deals. This is kind of cool, and it's something that most people go just to see these places. And if we get to be able to jump there in places that most people don't even get to touch, it's kind of it's an honor for sure.
I've never been to any of the other places, so like I said, this getting the invitation for this tour is really a motivator for me. We're gonna explore them all, and we're gonna make our mark.
I've seen myself quiver.
People think I'm a bad guy, and I'm not. I'm a mad guy, that's all.
Mad Mike!
What about the mic?
This sucks.
At least it doesn't smell like bullshit this time, huh?
Not really, but no. I meant the whole first part. That came out bad.
I got 2 personalities, but don't tell anybody.
You won the
I mean,
express.
we're going honesty here.
We're supposed to take out as many bullfighters as we can.
So get up on your feet. You are starting now on what I know.
Best after party.
Actually, some wild Mike Jones stories that aren't to be discussed on tape.
I don't remember. Those are the good parties. I don't remember.
I think that says something for the X Fighters after parties. We can't remember any of them, so must have been pretty good.
Red Bull definitely knows how to throw parties, so thank you guys.